So fisheye. All right, we're live for our third video. So if it's your first time to channel, welcome. We appreciate you joining us. We want to make videos that are all things Southern California. What it's like to work here, live here, play here, own a home here, invest here. So we appreciate you joining us. Hi, my name is Bruce Clark. I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker. Been doing 17 years. Come up on 18 soon. So we appreciate you joining us. Do us a favor. Like our videos, subscribe, click the bell for notifications so we can notify you the next time we upload a new video, whether we go live or we upload a new video on Southern California. We've got over 80 videos. We've got a lot coming. We've been doing a lot of session planning, so appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about Southern California, Mark, please. Let's talk about the Southern California. Thank you. So let's talk about Southern California market. Banks. Let me talk about some what just happened the past couple of days, and that is the takeover, the failure of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Signature Bank was more for crypto, and so they were taken over, and so it's kind of a cascading effect. But the Silicon Valley Bank was the second largest. In fact, the first time it's been about 3 years since a bank failed. So was interesting because they made a bet on longer term. So you have bills, notes, and bonds. So they went farther out than they probably should have. We have an inverted yield curve, so the short-term rate's higher than long-term rate, and that's supposed to be portending a recession. And who knows if we're, where we're going to go there. Certainly inflation and all that, but it's for another day. I'd love to delve into that do a deep dive in that, but. Powell came out. Yellen came out. Powell. Everybody's going to make a comment in this. Bill Ackman, the activist investor, talked about it. That the nature of the bank, because of their special vehicle, the holdings, the things, that Ackman believes that they should be made whole. Yellen's already come out. Yellen's come out and said, "Yeah, you're going to be made whole." They are going to stand behind. The Treasury is going to stand behind. Silicon Valley Bank. Everyone will have access to their money. They're going to auction off whatever assets are left. Most likely, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo is going to be in there. That really is what we're left with. So it's too big to fail. Make no mistake, it's too big to fail. We went through it with TARP. And here's something: LTCM. Whoever is on this this broadcast, if you've heard of LTCM, congratulations. If you haven't, highly recommend you go back and review LTCM. John Merriweather, Myron Scholes, some really cool, John Corzine, who we saw in MFB and someplace else. So there's some interesting players here coming back to Silicon Valley Bank. At the end of the day, they were too big to fail. So they're going to make everyone whole. They're going to have access to their money tomorrow. One of three banks is going to buy them. I don't think U.S. Bank's big enough yet. Potentially, I don't think they have an appetite for this type of stuff, but we'll see. We'll see someone come in and do some interesting things here. So that's what we see. Is it going to affect Southern California? Probably not. I don't really think there's going to be that much of an effect. It's going to be interesting, but let's come back to Southern California. But I definitely want to touch on the SVB situation. So Southern California, the market continues to move. We're seeing some crazy numbers on the sales side, just crazy. We're seeing some homes that are selling for 10 to 15% over last sale. So I don't know. I don't really know how the appraisers and banks are lending on this, and that's interesting. I think it's one of the things that we saw during 2006 to 8, where the appraisals came in. The appraisals kind of justified the price in a sense. And that's what appraisals should do. They should justify value, not necessarily price, justify value. But now we were starting to see a reverting back to what we saw in 2006, 2008. And it's concerning because the prices are going up so quickly. I don't know how people are going to continue to afford homes. And that's certainly a concern. So Let's talk about as a buyer. As a buyer, what should you be looking at? You should be looking at buying. I know that people are saying, well, the market's going to do crash, interest rates, yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing. If you take a 10-year snapshot, any 10 years, you go back 1965 to 75, 75 to 85, doesn't matter. Any 10-year snapshot, the average price of the home in your area has gone up. And so real estate's proven to be a great investment. So, when it comes to timing the market, it's a tough one. We've got some things with banks. We've got some things with the stock market. We have some things with the bond market. Yes. But as a homeowner, so let me come back for a second. Let's talk about rentals. So people say, well, I don't know. I think I want to time the market. I think I want to continue renting. Rental rates are going up as fast as the market. So one of the things I ask people is, if you buy a home and you have a 30-year fixed rate, and you can refi. You can refi, of course, most of the loans, let's say after a year or so. You could refi within 6 months on some. But let's say, sake of argument, a year down the road. But if you, let's say that you get in at a 6% rate, rates come down, you can refi. You can go in at 5%. You can't do that on a lease. They're not going to guarantee for the next 30 years that your lease payment is going to be this number, $2,200 a month, $1,800 a month, $7,500 a month, whatever. And that's one of the values of buying a home and having a fixed rate. Certainty. You know what your payment's going to be. You're going to have an increase, of course, an appraisal, an assessment. Of course, they're going to, as the market moves up with Prop 13, you've got that buffer that they can't raise it certainly as high as you would see in some other places. And that's one of the things that Southern California investors or California investors like, the certainty of Prop 13. They're pushing hard to do away with it for the commercial space. I don't know that they're going to be able to achieve it politically in the residential space, because it would just decimate the real estate market. You have a lot of people that have owned homes 20, 30 years that if they assessed their current market values, people just couldn't afford the home. And I've seen it where they've come back, when they've come back with an assessment on homeowner association dues, where people had to sell because they were on a fixed income and they just couldn't afford to keep the home. So that's one of the things. So, but on a snapshot of 10 years, every step of 10, there was appreciation. There's no guarantees in life, but it's proved to be a really good investment. Of course, then you have the tax benefits and just the benefits of owning a home. So timing a market, and I think I want to wrap all this up and say timing the market. I was a stockbroker. We used to make market in NASDAQ stocks. And I saw people trying to time the market, and they would use all these, fancy, whether it's TradeStation or, gosh, there's so many different programs, but they could day trade. They would sit there and day trade, or they tried to time the market, and it rarely worked. And I think same thing with the real estate market. Are we going to see a correction in the market? Perhaps, but good homes priced well are going to continue to sell. Remember, it's not a sales problem. It's almost not a pricing problem. It's really not an interest rate problem. We in Southern California have an inventory problem. If we had a lot more homes, then the market would be a totally different market, no doubt about it. But right now, we have in some communities, we have one home. That's all we have on the market. So keep that in mind as you're looking. I'm not, again, it's going to be an interesting market. On the sales side, you're getting a great price for your home. We have a lot of people, I know a lot of people looking to move out of Southern California. I can't blame you because of the price. And again, we can talk politics and we can talk all kinds of things. We can talk to taxes, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, people still want to be here. We get messages from people that want to come here for other countries quite often, and people coming from other states. So we're still seeing people move here. There's a lot of new home builders that are building in Southern California. There's Irvine, there's Anaheim, there's Tustin. there's Rancho Mission Viejo. People want to be here. They just do. And so I think, again, sometimes one of the things I think in real estate, we get too close to an issue. And so, I looked at and talk about people that are leaving the state, people, and I look at the numbers and I think, oh my gosh, we're going to implode. But the fact of the matter is we have a lot of people who are still moving here. And so that's my take on this. Now, from an investor perspective, California isn't going to probably yield as much as you'll see in other states. You can buy an apartment building in Evansville, Indiana, and maybe you're going to get a 6.5 cap, capitalization rate. Think of a cap rate as a bond, as a yield. That's kind of the equation of what I equate it to. Here, you might get a 4% cap rate, but you'll get the appreciation. Evansville, Indiana is not going to have much appreciation. My sister lives there. I like the city. Used to live there, Evans. But my dad was a minister there. But it's not a place that you're going to see the type of appreciation that you'll see in Southern California, simply because we have access to a lot more things, whether it's Disneyland, whether it's major employers, whether it's the ocean. And it is the ocean. It's the ocean. Schools, safety, food, air quality. I've had people that have moved from other countries for air quality, food quality, safety, and schools. Those 4 things fight for. So those are things. So again, what we are seeing in Southern, what we're going to continue to see a shift. This is a market being driven by inventory, lack of inventory. If we had 100 times the number of homes, different story. We're starting to move a lot of people out of Orange County. We're starting to move them into Riverside County. Corona is still got some good values. You're in the 750s. 7 years ago, you're probably in the 450, 500. Now you're 750 to 800. Same thing with Temecula. Watch our videos on Temecula. Watch our video. We've got so many videos coming up. But what we're also seeing, people go out to Victorville, Lake Elsinore in Paris, but Victorville, Apple Valley, all those areas. So people wouldn't make that move and drive. If you're working in Orange County, you could be an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. People wouldn't make that move if there weren't more opportunities here. And again, I'm from Indiana, love Indiana. Gosh, Southern California is a hard place to leave. And once you leave, especially we have appreciation, it's even more difficult to come back. So investors, we're looking at a lot of things right now for investing. We've got some things on the water that we've put in front of our investors that we like. One is, we think, a potential conversion from rental units potentially to condos. So a tenancy in common or tenant in common situation called TICs. What we're seeing on the commercial side is we're starting to see some repurposing of office buildings, high rises, 15, 20 story buildings, starting to see them converted to condos. That's a very expensive, very difficult process, but we're starting to see it. The money, again, if the values are there, we're starting to see that. We're starting to see self-storage facilities popping up in areas that we historically haven't. The state of California is really kind of blurring the lines with zoning and certainly encouraging more density. So you see accessory dwelling units, junior accessory dwelling units. We're starting to see a lot of things. What we're also looking at, assisted living facilities, we're senior care centers. We're looking at all that raw land right now. We're helping some of our clients buy raw land and build the home of their dreams. Now they might live in Orange County, and we've sold in Orange County, San Diego County, LA County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. I mean, Los Angeles. I mentioned that. So we've sold all over, but we're starting to see some people say, hey, though I like living here, I now want a chateau. I want a home in Lake Arrowhead, let's say, for an Airbnb, we're helping people do that. It could be that I want a home in Corona del Mar. I want to buy a duplex or something, live in one, rent the other out. And you can't do Airbnbs. You can do short-term rentals in Newport Beach if you get a permit, and ask us certainly any questions about that. We'd love to feature that in some other video. But what we're doing is helping people buy raw land, and then we we bring a team of people in. We can help with the architects, we can help with the general contractors, but there's a lot that goes into it. But this gives you the opportunity to build the home of your dream on the lot that you like versus a lot of the new homes. Certainly, if you're spending $4 to $5 million in Orange County, it's not unusual. Certainly in Irvine, you can get a $4 million home. You can get a 4,200 square foot home with a 5,500 square foot lot. Now we're looking at 3 to 5 acres. You've got a view. We know of a lot that is literally it's about 90 minutes from here that overlooks a lake. 3 acres. Wow. You talk about peaceful. You could build a phenomenal home on that. But we have a complete team of people. So one of the things that we help is we help people buy new homes, and using a real estate agent to buy a new home makes a lot of sense. We can help guide you through the contracts. We'll be there through all the walkthroughs. We'll be there for the builder walkthrough, the final walkthrough. We'll go with you if you'd like. When it comes time to pick your accessories, your amenities, all those things, we are there for you every step of the way. And there's a lot of value. Builders don't. There's a commission paid. Though we like doing this, like all of us, we need to earn a living. But the fee is not charged to you. The builders build it into the price of the home, regardless whether or not you use a real estate agent. If you don't, then you're not going to get anything extra. There's not going to be additional consideration. They're not going to say, hey, we've got this money. Now we're going to give you this now. We've never seen a builder, and certainly a big builder, do that. They understand the value of the agents. You have a builder's agent, a builder's rep representing them. You as a buyer need someone to represent you. We look over all the contracts and documents. You can have access to our list of lenders. And again, at the end of the day, it might be that you use their lender, one of ours, the ones we refer you to. But at the end of the day, we believe that we bring great value. We have a lot of experience helping people buy and sell homes, new homes also. So whether you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, you're looking for a new home, you want to build a home, you want to invest, we have agents on the commercial side that we partner with, and these are people that have a lot of experience in this industry, very, very well connected, very respected. And so we know that we can't do everything, but we have access to people that can help you whatever you want to do. Audio, video, electrical. I mean, we have a complete list of people. So we appreciate you joining us on this video. Thank you. We're going to continue to do these, and we're going to refine them based on the feedback we get. What do you want to hear? What information are you looking for? Let us know. And certainly, whether you're looking to buy, sell in the next 5 days, 50 days, or further out, and you're looking in Southern California, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to the area or from the area.